The small-town mechanic, Randy, was a mechanic through and through. A stocky man with grease under his nails and a perpetually smudged face. He had a heart that revved as loud as the engines he worked on. He'd been a mechanic for over 20 years, and while he loved fixing customers' cars, his true pride and joy was his 1970 El Camino. The sleek, half-car, half-truck hybrid gleamed in his garage, where Randy spent countless hours fine-tuning every piece until it purred like a big cat. One clear summer night, Randy was tightening a bolt under the hood, completely absorbed in his work, when he noticed a strange bluish light washing over the garage. He thought maybe one of his neighbors had installed new floodlights, but the light grew brighter, almost electric, and a low hum filled the air, vibrating through his tools. Randy squinted, trying to see where it was coming from when he saw it. A massive, circular shape hovering silently over his yard. Before he could even process what he was seeing, a beam of that bluish light shot down and engulfed him and his El Camino. Next thing he knew, Randy found himself in a metallic room that was somehow familiar yet otherworldly. The walls seemed to shimmer, and a strange control panel glowed in front of him, covered in alien symbols. But the craziest part, his El Camino was right there beside him, looking slightly different. Wires trailed from it, connecting to the walls, as if his beloved car was part of this ship's engine. A small, silvery creature appeared, standing just tall enough to reach Randy's chest. It had big, almond-shaped eyes, and a gaze filled with curiosity. In a crackling voice, the creature spoke. "Randy," it said, though it sounded more like a hum in his head than words. "We have chosen you, mechanic of Earth, to teach us about your combustion machines." Randy blinked, mouth hanging open. You took me and my 1970 El Camino just to ask about engines." The alien nodded. "Yes, precisely. Your combustion machines intrigue us. Their mechanisms are primitive, but efficient." Well, if there was anything Randy loved more than working on his El Camino, it was talking about engines. He spent hours breaking down the basics for the alien, who, much to his surprise, seemed incredibly attentive. It nodded along, occasionally asking questions that were so specific, Randy had to pause and think. Eventually, he was explaining things he didn't even realize he knew. At one point, the alien looked at him and tilted its head. "What is emotion? You humans feel something for your machines." Randy scratched his head. "Well, yeah. I mean, it's more than just metal and gears. That El Camino's been with me through a lot. Fixed her up with my dad, kept her running all these years. It's special." The alien pondered this, eyes narrowing thoughtfully. Then, after what felt like a long silence, it placed one of its slim hands on the El Camino's hood. There was a spark of blue light, and the car glowed. Somehow Randy could feel it too, like a warmth, not from the engine, but from somewhere deeper, almost as if his car had a soul. When the alien finally released him back on Earth, Randy and his El Camino found themselves back in his garage, right where they'd been. Except now, the El Camino seemed to hum differently, almost alive, in a way he couldn't explain. Every now and then as he drove down those empty roads, Randy could swear the engine purred just a bit louder, a little more vibrant, almost as if it was grateful. And sometimes, late at night, he'd look up into the sky, wondering if his little lesson had made a difference somewhere out in the universe.